culture. To start off with, here's our flag. It was described in 1817 by the Finnish poet Sakarias Topelius as the blue of our lakes and the white snow of our winters. I'm going to talk to you some about geography and weather, the population and language, and about culture, which will include points about customs and manners, design, food, and two celebrations which are specific to Finland and Scandinavia. So, geography. We're located within a group of countries referred to as the Nordic countries, between Sweden and Russia. The area of Finland covers a total of 131,985 square miles, so we are the 5th largest nation in Western Europe. We're often referred to as the land of 1,000 lakes. This is quite modest, however, considering we've got 188,000 lakes in total. We've also got an abundance of forests. We're one of the most densely forested countries in the world, which is why most of our houses outside of the major cities are built out of wood. And it's as rare to see a stone house in the Finnish countryside as it is to see a wooden one in England. As far as weather goes, Finland is all about contrasts. We've got very cold winters and mid to warm summers. In 2013, the coldest recorded temperature was minus 39.7 degrees Celsius, and the warmest day was 32.4 degrees Celsius. This contrast also comes in other forms. During the winter months, we experience continuous darkness, so 2 months when the sun never rises above the horizon. And the opposite occurs during the summer, when the sun never sets below the horizon for 2.5 months, and that is really something you have to experience. You can see the sun set on one end and start rising up on the other immediately. Another factor about Finland which needs to be noted is we're a very big country with very few people. We've got 5.4 million people in total, which is just a tiny bit more than St. Petersburg, which is right by our border in Russia. We have 2 official languages, Finnish and Swedish, and you need a bit historical background here, so bear with me. Prior to Finland becoming independent in 1917, we were a Grand Duchy of the Russian Empire for 108 years. And prior to this, we were a part of Sweden for 600 years, which is why 5.4% of our population speaks Swedish as their first language, and I'm one of them. 91% of the population speak Finnish as their first language. Finnish is a language which is quite peculiar, and this deserves a note. It's part of the Finno-Ugrian languages, and it has no connection to Latin or Germanic languages, so you won't find many languages related to Finnish. And it's classed as one of the most hard languages to learn, because the slightest change at the end of a word can significantly change the word's meaning. We also don't have any gender pronouns. We've got one pronoun, han, which denotes both he and she. So your parents won't know if you're seeing a male or female friend if you tell them. There's also an absence of articles such as a and the in English. Due to these language structure issues, Finnish has a tendency to form very, very, very long words. For example, we've got a word for should I run around aimlessly? I'm not saying you need it or anything, but it's nice to know. And the only English equivalent for building words in this way that I've found is dehospitalizationism. So as you can see, the word tiny bits change its meaning. Culture. Despite the fact that our language is rich, Finnish people don't tend to speak more than necessary. We consider silence part of communication. And we use phrases such as please and thank you very, very sparingly. And you may have wondered why I chose these pictures to depict our culture, but they represent two other peculiarities of Finnish culture. Firstly, the common rule of wearing no shoes inside. We even remove our shoes in some public spaces, such as schools, and even some workplaces with less formal dress codes. And secondly, the sauna, which has equal status to a church in Finnish culture. And considering that 79% of the population is Christian, this says quite a bit. It's a place to cleanse both your soul and body, and the temperatures go up to plus 120 degrees Celsius, which you can imagine can be quite nice when coming from outside temperatures of minus 30. So, despite our love of washing in extreme heats and not speaking very much, we've become, to be known also as a tech hub of the North. We've got a lot of tech startups. You may have heard of Angry Birds, created by Rovio Entertainment in 2003. We're also a very design-rich nation. This is Marimeko's famous poppy design. They've got many others, vibrant designs. And then Aaltosport, and you can see these famous vases right there. These designs all represent two things which are most important to Finnish people: simplicity and nature. This simplicity also transcends to our culinary culture. Our food culture is dominated by natural flavors and simple dishes that vary depending on the season. During winter, we would eat mostly reindeer, yes, sweet Rudolph, fruit vegetables, and meat casseroles. And during the summer, we have traditions of rhubarb pie, lentil soup, and new potatoes, which you can see here in the picture, that would traditionally be eaten with pickled herring. Two other notable foods that we have is rye bread, and it's not rye bread because it's easy to chew. And salty licorice, and these two foods are foods that I have come to notice you have to get like of as a child, otherwise you're most likely not going to like them. But please do try them anyways. Last but not least, I'm going to talk to you about Vappu and Midsummer. So this hat I'm wearing, it's our secondary school graduation cap. And during Vappu, which is celebrated on the 1st of May, you may know it as May Day, students or people who have graduated from secondary school will wear them around town. And it's a celebration for welcoming spring and celebrating students and education. It was a workers' day, but the students kind of took the day over. And it's transformed streets and cities, usually working-paced environments, into an environment of festivities and carnivals and picnics. And then Midsummer. This is celebrated on Midsummer's Eve. And it is celebrated through bonfires on the beach, bathing in saunas, and enjoying the never-ending night and day. The tradition comes from you lit bonfires to scare off evil spirits so that your crops would be good when it came time for harvesting. And although we don't believe have these beliefs anymore, we still continue with the celebrations, which often last throughout the night because it's hard to know when the day ends and the next one begins. Thank you.